three important clinical features. So first important is the enlargement of the thyroid gland. Diffuse enlargement of the thyroid gland, okay? First manifestation. Second important feature is ophthalmopathy. So almost all the patients, they present with certain abnormality of the eye or the eyeball, which is known as infiltrative ophthalmopathy, okay? And the third less common feature is lesion in the skin, which is known as a dermopathy, okay? So all these three are the cardinal or the important features of Graves' disease. Clear? So now let us come to the etiopathogenesis. Graves' disease, the cause is autoimmune. The mechanism, organ is specific, okay? So some condition or some other reason is fact. It is one of the key of genetic and antigenic protein structure of the thyroid follicle. Okay? So the most important autoantibodies, which is present in almost 90% of the cases of Graves' disease, is the TSI. Okay? Thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin or thyroid stimulating autoantibodies. Okay? So these autoantibodies are actually, they act upon the thyroid receptor, thyroid hormone acting receptor. Okay? And after acting, so they start on the thyroid stimulating hormone or the thyrotropic hormones. Clear? So because of that, they are known as thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins. And this reaction will mimic the action of the thyroid stimulating hormone. There will be activation of the adenyl cyclase. So there will be generation of the cyclic AMP. So all the effects, thyroid-like hormone effects, there will be more formation, synthesis, and the release of the thyroid hormone. Okay? So that is how the thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins act. Okay? And thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin is seen in almost 90% of the cases of Graves' disease. And it is one of the most important diagnostic tools, serological tool for the diagnosis of Graves' disease. Okay? So there is also presence of other autoantibodies. So other antibodies could be autoantibodies against the thyroglobulin, as well as the autoantibodies against the thyroxine peroxidase enzyme. Okay? But these autoantibodies are more important in Hashimoto's thyroiditis or autoimmune thyroiditis, but they may also be present in Graves' disease. Okay? Another very important thing in etiopathogenesis is that Graves' disease causing hyperthyroidism as well as the Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which causes hypothyroidism, both are the examples of autoimmune disorders. Okay? In Graves' disease, there is increased synthesis or stimulation of the thyroid hormone production. In Hashimoto's thyroiditis, there is more presence of the anti-thyroglobulin autoantibodies and anti-peroxidase autoantibodies, which actually block the synthesis of thyroid hormones. So the result will be hypothyroidism. Okay? Now, both these autoimmune diseases, there is genetic predisposition. Okay? So there is defect in immunoregulatory gene. So what is that? CTLA4 immunoregulatory gene that is defective. So that affects the normal immunoregulatory mechanism. So this is seen in Graves' disease as well as the Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Okay? Similarly, there is HLA predisposition. HLA-DR3 predisposition is seen in Graves' disease as well as in the Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Okay? So this is in short about the etiopathogenesis of Graves' disease. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us come to the how does the thyroid gland looks. If you examine a thyroid gland which is affected by Graves' disease, so that gland, the thyroid gland is large. There is hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Okay, so the size of the thyroid gland is increased, 80 gram or maybe 100 gram. Okay, so that is due to the hypertrophy and hyperplasia. If you examine the cord section of the thyroid gland, it will be fleshy like muscle, and it will have a flesh like meaty consistency, meat like consistency. Okay. Now, microscopic examination, if you do, you will find that the thyroid follicles, follicular epithelial cells, they show hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Okay, so there is increase in the number of the follicles. Due to the hyperplasia, there is formation of the papillary projections. Finger-like papillary projections may be seen in cases of Graves' disease. These papillary lesions are also seen in papillary carcinoma of the thyroid, okay? But the difference is that if papillary formation is there in Graves' disease, so this papillary finger-like projection will not have any fibrovascular core, okay? Whereas in papillary carcinoma, there will always be presence of supporting fibrovascular core, stromal core. Okay. Another important feature is lymphocytic infiltration. Because it is an autoimmune mediated inflammatory reaction, there will be presence of T lymphocytes. Okay, CD4 positive. So there may be presence of lymphocytes. Sometimes those lymphocytes, they form the follicle with prominent germinal centers. Okay. So these are all the morphological, gross as well as the microscopic feature of Graves' disease. Clear? Changes are also seen in the eye, retroorbital soft tissue. So I have already told yesterday. So these changes are also the morphological changes that can be seen in Graves' disease. Clear? So now let us come to the clinical features. So yesterday, I would like to repeat, hyperthyroidism, all the clinical features are due to the two things. So the first is increased basal metabolic rate, hypermetabolic state, due to the increased level of the thyroid hormones. Okay. Second important feature is increased sympathetic overstimulation. There is sympathetic overstimulation or the increased beta adrenergic tone. Clear? So both these factors will produce different clinical manifestations. The first most important manifestation in Graves' disease is enlargement of the thyroid. In most of the cases, if you see carefully, there will be prominent hypertrophic or the enlarged thyroid gland or the goiter that will be seen in the in front of the larynx. Okay. Second important feature is there is increased blood circulation due to the hyperdynamic circulation. The capillaries and the blood vessel which are present over the surface of the thyroid gland, there is hyperdynamic circulation. There is increased blood flow due to the increased metabolic rate. Okay. So sometimes we can hear if you auscultate the surface of the thyroid with the stethoscope, murmur will be seen. So those are known as the bruit, B-R-U-I-T, bruit. Okay. So that can be ausculted over the surface of the thyroid gland. Okay, is it clear? So this is the first most important clinical feature of Graves' disease. Second important clinical feature is in the eye, ophthalmopathy. So earliest of eye changes in Graves' disease are due to the sympathetic overstimulation. There is contraction of the superior dorsal muscle in the upper eyelid. Okay, so if you look at the patient, upper eyelid cannot be contracted. So the clinical feature will be wide gaze, okay, wide gaze that can be seen in the eye. The patient, this is known as a wide staring gaze. This is one of the earliest, most important feature, ophthalmic feature of Graves' disease. Okay, in late stages, due to the changes in the retroorbital soft tissue, there is proliferation of the adipocytes, adipofibrocytes in the retroorbital tissue. So there will be more production of the fibrocollagenous tissue as well as the matrix tissue, extracellular matrix, hyaluronic acid and the chondroitin sulfates. There will also be presence of inflammatory cells, lymphocytes. So all these changes, they increase the soft tissue mass in the retroorbital region. So this will push the eyeball forward. This is known as exophthalmos or proptosis. So patients with Graves' disease, most of the patients will present with proptosis in the late stages. Okay. And the third important feature is changes in the skin, localized changes in the skin. Just on the surface of the shin, leg in the shin, you will find thickening of the skin and the coarse skin. There is thickening. So this is also due to the extrathyroidal deposition of mucopolysaccharides, chondroitin sulfate as well as the hyaluronic acid over the surface of the skin in the shin. Okay. So this is known as pre-tibial myxedema. Pre-tibial myxedema because the lesion is in the shin, in the tibia. So this is known as pre-tibial myxedema. Okay. And the other feature, cardiac manifestation will be there. Palpitation, tachycardia, and serious cases, congestive heart failure will occur. Okay. So these are all the clinical features which are always present in all the cases. And for the final diagnosis, we do hormonal assay. So there will be decreased thyroid stimulating TSH level, okay, but increased thyroid hormones T3 and T4, okay. And the most important is autoantibodies. In 90% of the cases, we can demonstrate increased level of thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin level. So, is it clear, all the features?
Yes, sir.
So this is all about the Graves' disease. This was a very small topic, okay, which we are supposed to discuss today. Now the rest of the lectures, thyroiditis and all that, will be taught in the following lectures, which will be taken by my juniors, okay. So I will take off today, okay? I have got a meeting. So sorry, Anna, I cannot continue with my class. Okay? Okay, I can take off now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read, Anna. You read, your reading is more important. So kindly read, okay?